Welcome to another episode of Questions with LA. I am your intrepid host, LA Marzulli. Got a stack of questions right here, and we'll be getting into that. But first, a word from our trusted sponsor. Have you ever wondered why skin might look leathery as we age? That's because our bodies slowly stop producing its most important nutrient for skin health. Folks, that's collagen. That's why tens of thousands are turning to this amazing substance to replenish this diminishing but vital protein. It uses the top 5 critically important types of collagen to support skin elasticity, hydration, and to bring back that youthful glow. Most importantly, you can save 53% for this month only. Simply go healthwithla.com. That's healthwithla.com. Or folks, please check the link down below and check it out. I take the collagen every single day. I put it in my coffee, no lumps. It's non-flavored. I don't taste it. Every single day it's in my coffee. So there you have it. That's healthwithla.com, healthwithla.com. This is from Ken. And by the way, before I get into this, if you've got a question, I am actually in the last day of March. So we are kind of catching up, and a lot of you some of you anyway, have commented that you'd like to see more shows with questions with LA. So we're doing 2 shows this week, see what kind of numbers we get, and go from there. If you've got a question, shoot us an email, questions@lamarzulli.net, questions@lamarzulli.net. We kick off with Ken. Oh, and by the way, that I tried that link to that JPEG, and I tried it 3 different times, checked it, and was not able to find out what the gentleman was talking about. It was an ancient ruin. He's wondering whether it was pre-flood. But if you're watching this, send it to me again, and I will see if I can find it. But I digress. This is from Ken Kelly. Hello, LA. God created mankind as immortal beings, but we became mortal after sin. Exactly. Why are the fallen angels still immortal after falling from heaven along with Lucifer? Your thoughts. Love all your work, and God bless. Wow, Ken, that's really interesting. We're created a little bit lower than the angels. That's a really good question. Gary Stearman, elder brother Gary, calls it a dragon trap. When Adam and Eve were placed in the garden, he knows exactly what's going to happen. He does it deliberately because it's the only way he can reconcile the earth. And so Adam and Eve blow it. They bring death into the human race. They brought death into the human race when they sided with the dragon. This is why Jesus is called the firstborn from the dead. This is why he came and he defeated death. This is what's so important, because he's called the firstborn from the dead, because he rises up from the dead, the first person to do this. This is why the Shroud of Turin to me is so incredible, because it shows, in my opinion, forensic evidence of the greatest event in all of history. That is the Lord Jesus rising up from the dead. I mean, he was dead. There's no doubt about that. He didn't swoon on the cross. I mean, Romans aren't stupid. They're not going to let the guy down who's still in a swoon. They buried him. They thought it was over. The disciples all thought it was over. Everybody did. They didn't get it. Nobody gets the cross till after the fact. And the enemy realizes, oh my gosh, I just blew it. If he had known about the cross and what was really going to happen with it, he never would have let Jesus die. Never, not in a million years. But he didn't know. It was hidden in plain sight, but he didn't know. So, I don't have all the answers. Nobody does. Fallen angels are still immortal, which is why they are assigned to the lake of fire. That's a 3-hour discussion. I don't understand that. But here's something to think about, which is sort of related to your question in some way. After the millennium of 1,000 years, and remember, we're pre-millennium here. We're not millennial. We don't believe that we're in the millennial and this is it, and we've got to take the 7 mountains back for Jesus before he can come back. It's a bunch of nonsense. It's created that whole, it's a good intention. I mean, we should strive as Christians to do the best in all fields, no matter what they are. If you're a poll voter and you're a Christian, do it to the Lord. That's what the scripture says. Do everything as unto the Lord. If you're playing piano, do it unto the Lord. If you're a mathematician, do it unto the Lord. But it's not up to us to bring him back. It doesn't work that way. We don't have to convert everybody on the planet and make things better. When I'm at conferences and I say, how many of you think we're in a better place right now? Never a hand goes up. Than we were 20 years ago. Never a hand goes up, not one, ever, 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 because we're going down like this. We are watching the de-evolution of our culture, of society, and there's global chaos. I think that's a fair statement. There's global chaos. So what's incredible is after the 1,000 years of Jesus' millennial reign, he lets Lucifer, lets the dragon out. right? One more chance. What are you going to do? And what does Lucifer do? What does the dragon do? Gathers all the knuckleheads and goes marching up to Jerusalem, overthrow the king. After 1,000 years, you would think maybe he would go, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, but that's not what he does. It's in him. It's who he is. It's his fingerprints. So there's one more chance, which could lead me down some rabbit trails, which I would love to get into, but I will restrain myself and go to the next one. This is from Oliver. I was wondering if anyone has thought about using the mitochondrial DNA to see if there was a relation between different samples in the nuclear DNA, probably misspelled the same. David Paulides has over 100 samples that he has collected. Would Bigfoots and elongated skulls be related? This is a thought that my son and I have been talking about. Thanks for the consideration and all the work you have done. We know you were led by the Holy Spirit. Thank you, sir. God bless you and keep you yours till Messiah comes to take us home. Boy, is that our blessed hope or what? That's from Oliver Williams. Oliver, thank you so much for coming on the record. I'm supposed to see David sometime this fall. We are in fall now. Sometime I'm supposed to see him. We're supposed to meet up. That's one question I want to ask him, because I have working with a geneticist who has to remain anonymous. The geneticist is, we've got him some samples from Paracas. We'll see what turns up. But that would be a real interesting study. This is from Ed. Hey, Elaine, first of all, thank you for being so generous with your time at the Orlando conference and for the 2 powerful messages that you blessed us with. Well, sir, the honor was all mine. I pray the JFK book I gave you helps with your research. As a music minister, would you prayerfully consider doing a special praise and worship video to help carry us through this dark night of the soul that our nation is going through? Maybe this could be something for your music channel. It's interesting that you say that, Ed. The Lord got me up last night. I was thinking about music I did with a great group of players. It was Scott Kay on drums. He plays with the Commodores. Bill Bixler on sax. He's played in all sorts of things. And then John Button, who's recorded and played with many, many different bands that you would know if I mentioned their names, but I won't. But we all got together and we went up to Chris Julian's studio. This is many, many years ago, maybe 2008. I'm just guessing. Maybe longer than that. I honestly don't know. I want to say more like 2004, 2005. So it's coming up on 20 years. It's the last band I had put together, really, before the Lord was moving me into what I'm doing now full time. And I'm thinking about, there's, I think, 7 songs. We recorded them all live in Chris Julian's studio, and they came out really good. In fact, I listened to them all today, so I find your email very coincidental. Of course, there are no coincidences. So I'm thinking about putting that up on the music channel. It's not my solo piano stuff. It's sort of rock and roll with sort of a jazz flavor, but it's Christian rock, but it's not, it's not every other word's talking about Jesus. So it's more poetic, but I'm really thinking about doing that. And thanks for the email. So anyway, this is from Jeff. Oh my gosh, we have War and Peace. Why did they do this to me? Keep them pithy, folks. Keep them pithy. I have enjoyed watching your various YouTube casts and DVDs. And while I'm still in the middle of reading Countermove, I had a thought on alien Nephilim interactions among us in the present. I was wondering if a large majority of abductions and cattle mutilations of reproductive organs is actually tied to attempts to create female Nephilim with the ability to breed, since it seems there are only males, per your recent answer to someone else's recent question, if they were female Nephilim. Your answer was that the Bible only refers to the sons. So he goes on from there. It's really a good question. We know that there are female hybrids because of Al. Al has an encounter with a female hybrid who wants to have sex with them. We also know from the gentleman in Norway that the female that appeared to him wanted to have sex with them. They're obsessed with it. So let me see if we have a question here. I think that's it. Some kind of UFO. Yeah, that's basically it. Let me just see if there's anything else in here that I'm missing. He closes with this. Thank you for your work on ancient history to bring things I've questioned into focus and to elaborate on what seems to be implied in the ancient texts we have access today, the Bible, the Dead Sea Scrolls, etc. I know there was some speculation, but there's also lots of truth that is overlooked by most teachers, preachers, or taboo in many churches. It is fun to explore and also encouraging to learn more, which helps us decipher what is happening around us today. The game hasn't ever changed. God bless your work and new old discoveries that you continue to share. Thank you, Jeff, South Carolina. Really appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I get it. There are some things which are taboo in most churches, but you know what? The whole UFO phenomenon is real, burgeoning, and not going away. We've got perfect segue. We've got 6 films. We're the only Christian media that's got 6 films that deal with the UFO phenomena. We're it. There's nobody else that's even close. And we will have 9 by the end of the year, God willing. So that'll put a bow on the whole thing. Number 9 will be called What is the Truth? And we'll be talking about the 2 different paradigms. Are these really ancient aliens from Zeta Reticuli or Epsilon Eridani, Gary Stearman's favorite star cluster, or planet, I should say, or are these interdimensional entities that come from another dimension that have a very nefarious agenda? And this, of course, is the coming great deception. And, of course, I hold tenaciously onto the latter. This is from Mike. Hello, Mr. Marzulli. This is Mike from North Jersey. How you doing, Mike? How you doing? I am watching your show on YouTube for over 10 years now. Well, thank you, sir. Thanks for the excellent work. God bless you and for your efforts. It's amazing. I may never meet this gentleman, but thank you for the kind words. We appreciate it. It has come to my attention recently that there has been a dramatic increase in reported attacks and actual homicides involving cryptids. Unlike past events, these things are now occurring in suburban, well-populated areas. Until recently, there has been almost no mention of such things. There have been a few accounts in the past, but nothing like the present. What is your take on these things? Are you aware of this phenomenon? If so, is this really happening? Is it possible that these things were commonplace in Noah's time in the antediluvian world? Lots of questions here. The Bible clearly states that in the last days it will be like it was in the days of Noah, and also that men's hearts will fail them for the terrors coming upon the earth. Is this really happening? And we must now more than ever put on the full armor of God to be able to stand this demonic onslaught. Mike, I got to tell you, the short answer to that is yes. I believe that Sasquatch are the Therion, the beasts of the earth, along with maybe some other cryptids. It's part of the dragon's army, these cryptids that are showing up. Dogman, Sasquatch. You get a 14-foot Sasquatch that can jump through time and space, and he can create a lot of havoc when he's let loose, let's put it that way. I don't have all the answers, but I'm keeping an eye on that. Thanks for the post. I appreciate it. This is really interesting. I've heard about this. You can see, I'm going to get out of the chair here and bring this up to the camera so you guys can get a good look at that. Okay. So I've heard about this before. These allegedly are the remains of a giant, and it may or may not be, but it's up in Ecuador, and I have heard about this before. Bruce Fenton, who I haven't been in touch with for a number of years now, talked about this. The problem with this is it's hard to pin it down unless I go there. You want to come with me? You want to finance it? Unless I go there, it's just, really, really difficult. And is anything really on display? And I have no answer to that. I have heard about this before. Let me read this again. The remains of giants were discovered in a small Ecuadorian village in Changaimina, 7 meters in height. That's, 18 feet tall. Connected to an ancient human race exceeding 12 meters. One such discovery was by a local priest born in 1912. He had kept the skeletal remains in his possession until his death in 1999. I've heard this before. Bruce Fenton and I talked about it. There are some very, very interesting artifacts down in Peru. Whether or not this particular one is real, unless you're there, everything can be photoshopped today. So it's really hard to tell what's real and what isn't. Let me close by saying this. What was it, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, Haim Masan came up with the fossilized remains of so-called aliens. We did a show here. We had Tim Alberino weigh in on it also with me. You can go on our YouTube channel and Google it. I think things like this from Haim, unfortunately, muddy the waters. There's no provenance here for those ancient mummies that somehow come into Haim's possession. Show us the cave, show us the area where they came from. Take us to the spot. You know, why didn't everybody's got a cell phone today. Come on, everybody's got a cell phone. So before you take these things out of the ground, click, 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 video, you film everything so we can see where it is. There's a lot of bogus artifacts coming out of Mexico. I saw these 15 years ago, for crying out loud. There are well-meaning researchers that are believing that these are real. I do not for a second. They are hoaxes. There's no patina. There's no sign of age. And just because you find something in the ground that's buried there doesn't mean it's genuine. Somebody else could have buried it and then redug it up. I'm not accusing anyone of anything. Make that really clear. But I'm not buying this stuff coming out of Mexico at all for a minute, specifically Haim's bogus alien bodies. Jaime's a great guy. I love Haim. We've spent time together. I just think he's a little too earnest sometimes and needs to practice some of the rules of journalism, and they are: you need provenance, you need witnesses, you need provenance, you need photographs, because things like this photograph that I showed you can be so easily manipulated today. So easily done. Anyway, folks, this is Friday. Next Friday, I will be at the Prophecy Watchers Conference. Hope to see you there. I think they've got almost 1,100 people signed up for that conference. It's going to be a hoot. I speak twice on Friday. Then Saturday, I'm off to Israel, and we'll be doing the Nephilim tour. I'm really excited about that. So thanks for watching. Remember, there's all sorts of stuff in the store. Don't forget the new book by Karen Wilkinson, Stolen Seed, Evil Harvest. She was an abductee at a very young age, along with Emil and Al and Angela. All that's in number 4 of our ongoing UFO film series. But Karen felt led to really do a deep dive into it. And so we published her book, and we're really proud of that. And also Vicki Joy's book, They Only Come Out at Night. If you're struggling with sleep paralysis, you're going to want to get that. We've got 28 films. Most of them are on streaming.lamarzulli.net, streaming.lamarzulli.net. If you want the hard copy DVDs, you can also get that by going to lamarzulli.net. When you purchase a DVD, or you go to streaming, or you get one of our books, you keep everything going. And we just thank you in advance for doing that. Anyway, folks, it's Friday. Have a great weekend. If something happens over the weekend that's of merit, perhaps I will do a special YouTube video. Thanks for watching. We're up around 204,000, I think, whatever it is. But hit the subscribe button. Thanks for coming here. Tell a friend about the show. Remember, if you've got a question, questions with an S, questions at lamarzulli.net. Thanks and have a great weekend.